Okay, so joining us tonight on the show is psychic medium Lara. Lara, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to finally speak to you. The reason that we've contacted you is we've actually been working quite closely with you for the last couple of
Yes.
years.
Yeah, that's correct.
So what's been happening on our Facebook page? People ask for, well, mostly for help, or they need someone to assist them in certain activities that's happening around them. And we, certainly not qualified to deal with something like that. And second of all, we're actually very busy in our normal social lives.
Yeah,
So we refer all the cases to you, Laura.
that's
So
correct. Yes.
I would like you to tell us a little bit about yourself and what exactly is it that you do?
I am a psychic medium, so I can do crossover readings. I do current and future readings. And then I also like doing paranormal investigations. And then I also do house cleansings and soul cleansings. I also do past life regressions. So, yeah, quite a variety of stuff that I like to do.
Now, how did you get into this? How did this start for you?
Yo, as a child, I used to have visitors, and I will walk into a place and say to the people, "Oh, but this one is saying this and this and that," or this happened to that person, and the people would look at me and think like, "What's wrong with you? Because that person is actually dead. How do you know that?" And so through that, from childhood, it actually just grew. And then, when you are small, and in the 80s, that time they believed that it was so wrong. And then you had people pray over you to take it away. And then eventually I found John Edward on TV, and I started watching his shows, and I'm like, but I can also do that. And I just started exploring, and I started doing readings for friends and friends of friends. And then later on, I just thought, oh, well, let me just see if I can help more people. And I started a Facebook page, and yeah, today I've got almost 5,000 people on that on my Facebook, my private Facebook.
Wow, is this what you do for a living then?
Yes, this is what I do for a living. Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
I
So
love it. I absolutely love it.
I can imagine, really passionate about it. I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so tell me, do you like? You just described when you walk into a room, right? And you see people who are deceased or aren't there anymore. Is that do I understand correctly? Like they're actually still there.
Yes, you get a lot of spirit that don't cross over. A lot of spirit that have died a traumatic death, they don't always cross over. So a lot of times when you walk into a place, immediately they just know that you can see them or sense them. And so immediately they will try and get your attention so that you can actually just notice them and actually help them. Sometimes it is, even though you've passed, you can still come and visit your loved ones just to see if they are okay. And a lot of times your loved ones go through difficulties, and they reach out to the people that have passed over, and they just come to bring them comfort. So it's not like when you're dead, you're gone, you can't come back. So yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Where do they go then if they're not here?
Well, if they don't cross over, they're between here and there. I want to call it here and
Okay.
there. And if they do cross over, they go. Um, a lot of people know it as heaven, so let's call it heaven. So you do cross over, you go to the other side. You go through the light and you go to the other side. But it's not. You can't come back and stay this side, but you are allowed to come and give comfort to your family and give guidance if you are crossed over and you want to come give guidance. But if you've not crossed over, then you are in limbo. You are between here and there. So you're not there and you're also not here. So it's like they call it the in between.
Okay. And from all of these spirits that you can see, are all of them they used to be human, or is there different kinds of entities that you also get to deal with?
I have dealt with quite a lot of demonic entities. You get your very negative energies, and then you get your very sad energies. Most of them are human form. Demonic entities can come in any form until you decipher that it is actually a demonic entity. Then you will actually, I want to say it's true form, but it doesn't really always have a real true form. But what I've seen, it's weird. You see them, you can't describe them. They are, I've seen a little girl that comes that looks very happy, and as soon as you get close to it, it attacks you and it changes into this ugly, I don't want to say a wolf because a wolf is not ugly, but this dark thing with red eyes. Some of them, they have just this dark black shadow with red eyes, or some of them have green eyes. Some of them have had yellow eyes before, so it's not, it's difficult to specifically say a demon looks like this because they have so many different shapes that they can take on. But they can also represent themselves as a human, as in a human form.
Really?
Yeah. And then orbs as well. A lot of spirit travel in the form of orbs. It makes it easier for them to travel, and they use a lot of people pick them up in the form of an orb, and that they use before they actually manifest and fully show themselves.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the field that we find ourselves, we get to encounter these kinds of things very, very often, and often debating it between our investigators. That's exactly the kind of things that we come up with. It has to be some kind of way that they travel, because these orbs are everywhere.
Yeah.
And as you say, these spirits are all around us. It's just some people can see them.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, some people can see them or even feel them or hear them. Some people can see, feel, hear everything. So a lot of people, I think everybody has actually got the gift, but not everybody is advanced to use the gift.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we do refer these cases to you, what kind of cases do you get often?
Mostly it is negative energies. So people will find that life goes wrong. Everything goes wrong. They battle at work, they battle at home, they're depressed, everything goes wrong. Doesn't matter what they do or try, everything just keeps on going wrong. And then there's always a way. You've got to establish if it's an attachment that the person has, or is it an issue that's specifically in the house. So what I do immediately, I ask them to please send me photographs of the inside of the house so that I can see what I can pick up energy-wise. And then I also take a photograph of the person so that I can see what energy is around them. And through that, I can establish whether the issue is in the house or whether the issue is with them. So most of the cases that you've sent me, you guys have sent me, it has been with a house, especially the one last year in Durban. I flew down to Durban. And they just had this little girl in the house, and she was there for quite a few years, according to the family, and then she just started attacking the oldest son. And they couldn't understand what was going on. And then obviously they got hold of you, and they got hold of me then. And when I got there, the moment I walked into the house, I said, this is a demonic entity, because immediately it scratched my whole back. My whole back was full of scratches. And
Really?
they do that because now they think they are going to attack you, and, oh, no, you're going to make me scared. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm not scared of you. But I had to immediately tell them the little girl that they had, she presented herself as a little girl with a white dress, like a night dress. But the moment she saw me, she knew that I would immediately see through her. So she had to try and attack me. That's what they do, because now you're entering their space and they know that you're going to get rid of them, and they don't want that. So yeah.
So initially, when they do attack you, is this because they're scared, or is it just like a kind of a retaliation to what's to come?
I think it's a bit of both. It's because they are trying to make me scared so that I can rather say, oh no, I'm not ready for this. I'm rather going to leave it. So they are scared and they know what's going to come, but they're always going to put up a fight first to see if they cannot stop you from getting rid of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. That's actually quite heavy. So how long does it take you to deal with something like this?
Look, every case is different. So, and there's also, people need to understand there's a very big difference between a negative energy and a demonic energy. I get phone calls, people phone me, oh, my glasses are flying in the house, what is happening? This is a negative energy, but why is it negative? So it goes back to when people pass, they don't always cross over. So now think for yourself, if you have passed and you have not crossed over, now you're stuck in this house where you know this is your place. You're trying to communicate and talk to your people, and they're not listening to you. They're walking past you, right through you. Nobody's listening to you. What are you going to start doing? You're going to start getting angry because I'm shouting and screaming, but you're not hearing me. So now what's the next thing you're going to do? I'm going to start throwing stuff around in the house so that I can try and get your attention. I'm going to fiddle with your TV. I'm going to fiddle with any electronic device, or like I say, throw glasses and stuff around, because now I'm getting angry because you are not acknowledging me. I need your help, but you're ignoring me. So that is a negative energy. They turn out to be negative. But the moment when I go and I do a cleansing, I have to fight with them a bit at the beginning, because now they're angry, and now who says you're going to help me think that everybody else is going to help me? So I've got to explain to them, this is what happened. You passed away. I can also I can also sense how they passed away. So I can tell them, look, you were shot, or you had stomach cancer, or you died in a car accident, or whatever. And I take them through that step by step, and they actually start remembering, but shoot, this is actually what happened to me. And then I guide them through to go to the light. I've always got Archangel Michael and Raphael with me. They're my two main angels that are with me. And then all the other angels, and then we guide them and actually help them to cross over and go through the light and help them find peace. Demonic energies, they always put up a massive fight. Like I say, now a thing that I started doing as well is started channeling. So spirit can channel through me. So now with demonic, well, when I started doing the cleansings and especially the paranormal investigations, it was quite scary, because the very first thing was a very, very aggressive, I think it was, I need to remember now, I think it was a British, he wasn't a soldier, he was, what do you call them? He was over the soldiers, a general or something.
Like an officer.
Officer or something like that, yes. Mm-hmm. And that was my very first investigation, and he channeled through me without permission. And he actually, I gave orders to like absolutely everybody that was there on the farm with me and shouting, and that the people actually said to me, my face started changing into this man's face. His face came out of my face. And apparently I was screaming and shouting and demanding and everything to get out. And then luckily David, he stood up, because everybody else got scared, and he said, who are you? What do you want? I am not afraid of you. You've got to be demanding with them. The moment you show fear, they control you. So then David, all he wanted to do is say what he needed to say. And he got out to say how he hurt and abused women and children, and it was in the war times. And in the end, we softened him, and we actually could help him cross over. But now with demonic energy, entities obviously you can't get them soft. You can't soften them, so they get more aggressive and more aggressive and more aggressive. The most important thing is do not show fear. The moment you show fear, they've got you. The very first time I fought a demonic entity, oh my word, it was a house that we did in Honeydew. Luckily, David, he's now immigrated to the UK, but luckily he came with me, and this demonic entity actually started channeling through me that I was screaming and shouting and biting. I was going ballistic, and he just grabbed me and he shouted at me that I must fight back. And now I'm here on the inside, and this thing is channeling through me. And then I just kept on calling on Archangel Michael. I was very lucky that night. I was awarded a sword by the angels that I can use to fight them. Also, it's like an extra power. And I ended up, we ended up defeating the demon. So now I know the moment you show fear, that's when they have you. That's when they control you. So to get back to your question. So now a negative energy, that can take me anything between, say, about 2 to 4 hours to do a cleansing. When it comes to demonic entities, it can take anything between 2 hours to 6 hours to 8 hours. There was actually an old age home that I also did last year. It took me 2 days to actually clear out the demonic energies, yes.
In an old age home?
Yeah, in an old age home.
My word.
That was hectic.
Really? That's crazy. Why an old age home?
You see, they are a very easy target. They're frail. They're old. They are very, very sensitive. So if you look at your most sensitive people, it's your kids and it's your elderly. So they are an old person grows back to a child, if you think of it. If you think, not meaning it in a bad way, but if you really think of it. So they are very sensitive. So they're very easy targets. And old people are frail, they are sick. They've always got these issues around them. So that makes them so much easier to attack. But also, this is where witchcraft comes in. There's a lot of witchcraft that took place on the property that brought in a lot of negative energies and demonic energies because of people being jealous, people not liking. They don't actually want to be there, but it's work. They just see it as a job. I want more money. I want more this. Greediness. It's very sad what people do when they are greedy and when in jealousy. Yeah.
How much of this is because of people?
You know what? I'm going to say, because of people, I'm actually going to say about 80%. What I've been experiencing lately, it is mostly because of people don't realize. Me and you have a massive fight. I wish bad upon you. What I speak out of my mouth, it actually it realizes you're actually really speaking bad over that person, even though you're just doing it out of you being angry now and you're wishing bad upon that person. That bad is really going over and onto that person. So that's already just by speaking bad over that person, negative is going to affect that person. So now imagine if this person hates you so much and they actually go and find someone to use voodoo or magic or whatever it is they want to use on you, how bad it is going to be.
Is there any way that you can know that something like that has been cast over you?
Look, to know that a curse has been placed over you, everything goes well for a while and then all of a sudden things just go bad. You get sick all the time, you can't sleep, you are drained. Maybe tonight you sleep like a baby and you wake up tomorrow, but just like, I feel like I haven't slept at all. You feel depressed, you get moody. So now you are happy-go-lucky. 10 minutes later, you want to murder everybody around you. 10 minutes later, you feel emotional. And you can just start feeling that you don't know who you are. You don't understand yourself. And that is a way of it can be either a curse or an attachment that is latched onto you. So both of them are very much the same.
What kind of places have you investigated?
I've been, and I'm trying so hard to remember the farm, something in Upward. There was a farm that I did. I've done a strawberry fields farm, also in Harties. I've done a house, and then there was a guest house in Harties also that I've done. I've done, I'm trying to remember. There's quite a few that I've done. I've never been fortunate enough to go to amazing places like you have been. For me, it's always been like farm-like type of places, farms and stuff. Now, especially if you look Hackpoort, Harties, and Krugersdorp. Oh yeah, I've done graveyards as well. But like Harties and Brits and Hackpoort, that area is very much where war took place. The Boer War, yes, that's correct. The Boer War took place. So there is a lot of energy there. I've also done, was Centurion. There was a farm in Centurion. Wow, that place was, it was hectic. It was absolutely hectic, but it was absolutely amazing. So, like I said, I haven't been fortunate to do amazing places like you. I've mostly done a few farms. But yeah, it's never been disappointing, never. And then your investigations, yes, but like a cleansing, the old age home, oh my word, that was wow, that was a massive thing to do.
Really, yeah. So, I'm going to ask you a weird question now. Have you ever encountered something, let's say, ancient, like? You mentioned Harties now, and I know it's an area that was rich with history of prehistoric tribes and stuff. Have you ever encountered something like that, like a very old, not like a very old human, like they come from a time that's way ahead of us, or behind us.
Behind us, yes, I actually have. I'm going to say with the Boer War, with the Zulus, like Shaka Zulu's time, I have encountered them. I have encountered soldiers. And then I think the oldest that I ever have encountered was if you go back to the medieval times, and I actually now know why I encountered him, but like the knights, he was dressed like a knight with a suit and armor and everything, and he actually came out of the medieval times, like Mary Queen of Scots, that era. So I'm connected to that era out of my past life. And that's where his connection came in. So it was not that he wanted to spread any bad or any negativity. It was basically he just came up and he said to me, I was going through a very bad time. And he actually said to me, I'm always with you and I'm always here to guide and protect you. All you need to do is just think of me and I will be there. So I know he's not one of my guides. I know that for a fact. But he is, I would like to think he's one of my ancestors. That whenever I go through a hectic time or like a hectic cleansing, that he's actually also there to guide and to help me.
Right. So if you go into a place now, so you differentiate between investigating and cleansing. So you don't necessarily go into places to cleanse them. You just checking out what kind of activity there is.
No, my idea of an investigation is why I call it an investigation and why I call it a cleansing. So when I do an investigation, that is actually when I go and find if there is spirit or lost souls or anything that needs help. So I go and investigate, and if I find spirit that needs to be crossed over or helped, then I actually cross them over. I'm
Right.
one, with me, is I cannot go and do an investigation and know that I turn around and I walk away and I've got all these lost souls that just want to go home. I can't. I have to,
Right.
that's my purpose, is to go and help them, so that go and find them and help them to cross over. When I go and do a cleansing, it's actually when people have realized that they have got spirit or something in their house. So then I have photographs of the place. So obviously I pick up that before the time. So I know what I'm letting myself into before the
Yes.
investigations. I'll do a post on Facebook and say I need a place to go investigate, and people will say, okay, this and this and this, and then I'll go out. I don't want any info before the time. They'll
Right.
basically say to me, now I've got some hectic stuff happening. I'm like, cool, let me come and see what I find. That's for me what the difference is. But my idea still is to find those spirits and to cross them over. And if there is demonic entities there, it's to kick their behinds and get rid of them, because we need good and positive in life, not all this negativity.
Oh, so that's actually a thing. You're just out there to help people and help those who have already deceased to get where they need to go.
That's my main thing. That is my passion. That is what I want to do. That's yeah. I can't express it enough. It's yeah. It's what I have to do. You know, when you just yeah.
It's like it's what makes your heart sing.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. It is. It's like yeah. People just think like, how can you do that? It's like so weird, but it's like, if I get a call, I've got this in my house, I'm like, oh yay, I can go help. And I get so excited and people think I'm nuts. But yeah, I absolutely
But in a sense now, we've been dealing with this for quite some time now, and when these kind of things pop up, you usually refer to your frame of reference, like films and stuff that you know um, people who are in the of the cloth, religious leaders, but
yeah.
they're not necessarily geared to deal with something like this. So we've had so many cases where when you refer them to a religious leader, they've not been educated to deal with kind of stuff like this. So that at some point that was really frightening until I heard about people like yourself, and
Yeah.
you were able to fight that fight on a spiritual level and actually help people.
Yeah, the thing for me with the religious people is they think just by taking oil and reading out of a book, um, it's good enough. It's not good enough. You've got to have faith. Your faith has got to be strong, and your willpower has to be strong, and your passion has to be strong. Anybody can take a Bible and a bit of oil and say, okay, I'm cleansing. Your place is cool. This is exactly what happened at the old age home. They had a pastor come in, oiling the place, and walked around with the Bible praying. Now, please don't get me wrong. I also fully believe, um, but your faith needs to be not in the book. It needs to be in your universe, your God, your Savior. You understand what I'm saying? For me, this is a very touchy subject. So,
Yeah, no. It's good that we're talking about it.
yeah,
Get
for me,
get
it
your
is
take on
just,
it.
yeah, your faith has to be strong, and your purpose needs to be there. You have to go there with the idea of, this is why I'm here, and I'm not leaving until it's done. And when they phoned me, said, okay, now we had the church people out. I said, okay, no, it's fine. I'll hear from you in 2 weeks' time, because I knew it.
Yeah.
I know the guy that he he volunteers there, so we know each other well. So I said, no, it's okay. I'm telling you now, 2 weeks, you're going to phone me. I swear to you, 2 weeks later, he phoned me. He said, oh my word, Lara, this place is going nuts. We need you, please. The people were begging me to come and help. And I went there last year, December, And still to this day, not one problem, nothing, absolutely nothing. That same pastor that did the ointments and stuff, she actually came with when I did the cleansing part, the main cleansing part. And she actually looked at me and she said to me that she had never ever witnessed anybody that's got so much power and so much faith in what they are doing. And that is what you need to be successful in doing a proper cleansing or a proper, cleansing or crossover or, So, like I say, most of my people, a lot of people phone me and they say, look, I've had the church and everything else out, but it's just so much worse now. And it's just for me, people I've opened my Bible on this psalm. It's like, really, you open your book and you believe in the book. Your faith should not be in a book. Your faith should be in your heart and in your Savior. So, yeah.
That's very good. Last thing I want to ask you is, just as a personal question for me, something I've always, there's obviously over the last couple of years, there's been a lot, not couple of years, last, let's say, decade, there's been a great increase in suicides. How, you know what I want to ask?
Why is it happening?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Go for it, please.
No.
Please.
Finish your question.
No, but because I've always thought that that there's certain patterns that you're sort of picking up, and how much of that has to do with with attachments and, like you said, demonic entities influencing people to eventually. Because what do these negative spirits actually want? Not negative ones, the dark ones that we talked about now. What do they essentially want? I think they want you to die, right?
Yeah, they want chaos. They want negativity. They want everything to be bad and dark, and everybody must hate each other and fight each other and kill each other. That is their main purpose. They don't like the light. They don't like positivity. They don't like happiness and joy. But suicide, I am going to say, at especially the rate that it's been going the last few years, we are now moving into the fifth dimension. So you know that we've got different dimensions. So now we're in a third dimension going into the fifth dimension. This is a massive year spiritually. The veil at the moment also, and I'm sure that you've realized this as well, is very, very thin. So a lot of souls, the transmission from third dimension into fifth dimension, even for me, is hectic. The last 2 weeks I have been really suffering, headaches, earaches, whatever you can think of. It makes you sick, but it is because of all the downloads and stuff. Now, a lot of souls can't handle this. It's too much for them to handle, so they rather choose the easy route out. So they commit suicide because their soul is not ready to deal with this transformation. And that's why a lot of suicides take place. Then, yes, that at the moment is top of the list. Why there are so many suicides. And also with everything that is happening now currently, it's also got a lot to do with going into the fifth dimension. And then also, yes, demonic energies, your people that's got ADHD, your autistic people, and like especially your people that they say have, schizophrenia, bipolar. It's actually people that are very, very high, very highly gifted. But now they are all diagnosed and all doped up so much with medicine that they end up going crazy, if you want to call it that. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. So out of that also, it ends up a lot in suicide. Demonic entities and negative energies, they do play a role in suicide, but not as hectic as everything else. It is, I want to say it's the easy way out for the soul because it can't handle all of the I don't want to, let's say all the stresses that it needs to go through for it to be at peace. It's not strong enough. So you will find, especially your people now that commit suicide, they are very young souls. They are not old souls. Like you're a very old soul. And me, I'm an old soul. So for me, we've endured a lot already in past lives, in previous lives that we've lived. So yes, this is also very hectic, very difficult, there's a lot of trauma that we have to go through, but in the end, we know that our purpose is much greater than that. So we end up fighting through it. But for your young souls, they can't handle it. They are not strong enough for it yet. And that's why a lot of suicides take place. The chances of demonic entities, I'm going to say, is about 10% in suicides. It's not the main cause. In my opinion, it's not the main cause.
It is. Okay. No, that's cool. I really wanted to ask you that. I was just wondering about, how do you find answers? You ask the right people, right? Lara, I think thank you very much for coming on the show and chatting to us. I think if we can probably sit here for another 2 to 3 hours and just run this discussion through. But I just really like to thank you for taking your time and come chatting to us.
Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I think it's also a good way to just put out some misconceptions out there. People think that psychic mediums are, I don't know what their perception are, but it's usually not a good one just because it's not an educated opinion of someone and what they do.
Yeah, people don't understand what it is that we do, and therefore they will rather criticize us instead of trying to find out what it is. I get so much hate mail, you won't believe it, how people will throw with emails and inboxes on Facebook. And even when I post my ad, people will write there, you need to repent, you need to turn to God and stuff. But it used to bug me. Oh my word, I cannot tell you. It used to hurt me because for me, I feel like I'm doing God's work. I'm bringing in positivity. I'm helping finding missing people. I'm making people's miserable lives better. How can that be wrong? But I'm now at a point where, they don't understand it. So therefore, if I don't understand it, I lash out. That's what they do. Yeah. So I just ignore them, and I just pray that one day they will actually realize that us here as light workers are here to bring change and bring love and light into the world, not to bring bad. We're here to fight the bad. So
but for some people, their perception is the unknown is bad.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can change some people's perception of it. But once again, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.